I'm Dane Young with UGA with head coach Jim Donnan. And coach, we're both big tennis fans, so we're excited for this podcast we're doing today.
Well, we really are. And of course, I've been involved with the Coach Wallace and Coach Diaz for a long time. When I was a coach here, they were surprised to know that I was an old tennis player, but I always try to support them. And we got a lot of good support. But first of all, we need to congratulate Coach Wallace sweep winning the conference first time since 94, a duo sweep of the regular season and the championship tournament last weekend. So congratulations, Coach.
Thank you so much. And yeah, I really appreciate that. I mean, this conference, the SEC, is the best at all sports. And anytime you go 16-0, you win 16 straight conference matches, 13 in the regular season and 3 in the tournament. That's a pretty amazing feat. But, I'll tell you, 13 out of those 16 matches, we actually won 4-0. We shut them out. And that's, for us, has never happened. And so that's got to be a record of some sort.
Yeah, so I mean, just for our fans out there, this is usually a football site, but they're a Georgia site too. How long have you been the coach here now, and how many regular season and SEC tournament championships have you won? I know the national championships speak for itself, but how many have you won now?
Well, thanks, Coach. I've been here for 36 years. Super fortunate to be able to coach at my alma mater. Finished my degree in '85 and started coaching the women's tennis team in 1985. I was the youngest coach in the country at 24. Now I'm probably one of the oldest at 60. But anyway, I think that was our 8th conference tournament title. And I think we've got, I don't know, I really don't know how many regular season titles, at least 8 more, I'd like to say. Probably 16 altogether there, and to go along with our 6 national championships.
Yeah, that's unbelievable, really, when you look at the dominance. And we're going to talk about your team a little bit and what's going forward here. And Dane's going to ask you some specific questions about your players. But just tell the fans what's ahead now as far as the NCAAs and how the situation. I know you have to have a regional match and then go to the tournament, but how does that work?
Yeah, so with our win at the conference championship, we moved up from number 3 to number 2 in the national rankings. And so we're hopeful to have a number 2 seed at the NCAA tournament. All those selections are done by a committee. So they'll be the ones that create the seeds. And that's going to happen on May 3. And then the first and second round. So the NCAA Women's Tennis Championships is a 64 draw. And we play dual matches, just like we do in the regular season, throughout the tournament. And the first 2 rounds are hosted on 16 campus sites around the country. And hopefully we'll grab one of those host sites and have our first 2 matches be in Athens. And if we were able to get through both those matches, then we all will move down. The round of 16 and on will be in Orlando the next week.
Coach, you were talking about just the dominance that this season has had, just with some of the convincing victories, and it was the same way against Texas A&M in that conference final in the tournament. Seeing a lot of 6-1s and 6-2s, a couple 6 to love. When did you know that this team was a little bit different and what their potential could be?
Well, I mean, I think this has kind of been a nice run that we've had, dating all the way back to 2018. In fact, from 2018 to right now, we've won 32 straight SEC regular season matches. And I think our men's tennis team has the record at 35. I think swimming's won 31 at one point in time. I think during the Herschel years, football had about 24, something like that. So 32 straight conference matches, regular season matches, is now they're pretty amazing record for this group. But, I think it all started this year when COVID hit us last year and shut our season down, and that was super, super unfortunate. But, we had 2 incredible seniors, and the NCAA gave them the opportunity to come back, Marta Gonzalez and Elena Christofi. But they didn't have to come back. They had a decision to make, and they made a great decision and said, we want to make sure we have a senior year. We don't want to be cut short like it was. So they made the decision to, come back and join their teammates for their senior year. And I think that was a starting point for us to know, hey, we're going to have another special year. We're going to have good leadership. We got 2 phenomenal athletes that have had great careers, they're great students, great people. And so I think, in the summertime, last summer, before the fall, we realized that once these guys made that decision that they were going to come back, that this could be a special year. Of course, we had to get through everything that, that COVID threw at us. And then the SEC made a nice decision for us that we were actually allowed to compete in 3 tournaments in the fall. A lot of tennis programs weren't able to compete in the fall. And I think us having the opportunity to play in 3 events gave our players a good opportunity to, actually get out on the competition courts, because it had been a long time. And I think that was a kind of the second starting point for us to know that we've got a really good group. And obviously our senior Katarina Jokic, who's had such an incredible career here, been most of her entire career the number 1 player in college tennis, has had another remarkable year this year. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that those 3 things right there, along with obviously all the other great players we'll talk about, has been what summed up to the year that we've had.
Yeah, and you bring out the point about 32 in a row, matches. Going back to 2018, you got to the finals down there, and tough loss there, but to get that close, and then it looked like you're going to have another great team in 19, and then really rolling there, and then call the season off. So kind of up and down roller coaster of emotions. But how are the kids reacting? How did they react knowing that all of a sudden they weren't going to be able to play anymore, and then all of a sudden coming back and knowing that you got a chance to play for not only a regular season championship in the SEC, but to know that the reason you come to Georgia is have a chance to compete for the national championship?
Yeah, so that 19 team, I mean, we won the national team indoors, and that was kind of the start of everything, and moved up to number 1 in the country. We were the number 1 seed at NCAA. As you said, we got all the way to the finals, had a tough match with Stanford in the finals. And then, we fast forward into the 20 season, we got to March, and then the whole COVID thing happens. And I got to tell you, Coach, that was one of the toughest days of practice. We're getting ready. We were 3-0 in the conference, and we're getting ready for the Florida, South Carolina weekend. Our seniors had never lost to Florida, and so it could have been 4 straight right there. And everybody was geared up for this weekend, and then all of a sudden it's like we get told, hey, we're not going to be allowed to have any fans come to our match. And then about 3 hours later, at the end of practice, we get told, hey, we're actually not going to even have a match. And then the next morning we get told, hey, you know what, the season's done. And it just kind of all of our focus went straight to our seniors. And is this how it's going to end for these guys? Is this it? And that was really tough. I got to tell you, that may have been one of the toughest parts of, talk about, you losing the finals of NCAAs, how disappointed you are for that. But that didn't even pale in comparisons to how tough it was when we knew that, hey, our season's done and this might be it for these seniors, because obviously it was several months later that the NCAA actually made the decision to allow them to come back. And then, you fast forward to where, okay, now they're all coming back to school in the fall to start this year. And I just think that they were just super excited, not only just to be able to get back to their sport and play, but I think just to be with each other and to do what they do and with each other, and to be able to practice every day and just go to school and kind of get back to normal living. I think that just everything that they had gone through, they were so eager and so willing to just like, you just don't take things for granted anymore. You're so appreciative of every opportunity that you get. And that's kind of how this season's really been for us, is just that, you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, but we know we got a match today. We know we got to practice today. Let's give it our best. And I think that that's really helped these guys make the improvements that they've needed to make this year.
Jeff, from your experience, once you get to the NCAAs, from either a coaching or a player standpoint, does anything change, or is it just that you're so conditioned to play the game that you want to play? Is there something that your team does differently in NCAAs?
Well, I think the one thing for sure is you're playing realizing that there is no tomorrow unless you survive in advance, and so you're always just feeling like you're just going to give it everything you've got. I feel like our team's done such a great job of treating each and every match on our schedule this year as like the most important match that they've ever played, and I'm sure that that's what we're going to continue to do at the NCAA tournament. But you kind of you always think about your seniors, and you kind of go, okay, this is their last tournament. And you think about, just for the whole group, how much work they put in through the whole season, from the 6 a.m. morning runs to, just everything, all the practices, all the grinding weight workouts, and all the incredible matches that we've had, all the experiences, and it all needs to come down and accumulate to, this big moment for a national championship. And we try to keep them loose and just go at it like it's just, it's the next thing that we do. But we know that there's just a lot of emphasis put on this, and it kind of defines our program and, what our season's going to be, how it's going to be read in the history books moving forward. But I know these guys are excited about this upcoming event, and they just want to go out and give it their all and give it the best shot they can give it. And that's all I can ever ask.
Yeah, I like that too. Tradition here. I mean, you talked about being the coach since 1985, but you kind of grew up with Coach McGill and with Manny, who we're going to have on later today. But just the idea of the tennis tradition at UGA, just give us your take on it and what it means to you to be the coach here.
Well, Coach McGill was the greatest Bulldog of all time, and he taught us all so many things. He was a unbelievable promoter. He's an unbelievable motivator, and what an incredible facility, and brought the NCAAs here. I mean, he's done so much for this sport that appropriately it's named the Dan McGill Tennis Complex. And, I was, again, I said I was young when I got hired, and I was super appreciative. And, all of a sudden you blink, Coach, and 36 years later, you're still doing it. But, yeah, it's been a great ride, and both Coach Diaz and I are super fortunate because we've got two other Georgia grads, Jamie Hunt and Drake Bernstein, who are just rock star associate head coaches with us that do such a good job, and so you got four Bulldogs at the helms of tennis programs, and it's just been wonderful.
Right, so I have to ask, if I took you and Manny out to a court right now, singles, one set. Who's taking it?
I don't know. He just had a knee replacement. Okay, here's how I'm going to answer that. Right now, probably me, but he was a much better player than I was in the day. Only because he just had a knee replacement.
Yeah, both of them are good pickleball players too.
Yeah, there you go. We'd be better off having a challenge on the golf course, the pickleball course, or just something else. We've done enough tennis.
They won't even play with me anymore. I'm too old for them. Let's just go down real quickly, Coach. This is a quick synopsis of your lineup and what the fans can look for. Just a couple sentences about, we talked about Jokic. Just 1 through 6 here, and then hit your doubles lineup and how it looks right now, because you really haven't lost many doubles points all year, have you?
Yeah, no, our doubles has been really good. We've only lost a couple doubles points, and we lost one. The first one we lost was at Vandy, and actually it was really good for us because, you don't want to get to the end of the season, because this doubles point, with the way that we do it is 6-game set, 3 of them for 1 point, and it's no ad scoring, and it goes really super quick. So it's not that many points played. So, Coach, that when you shorten it like that, basically anything can happen. And we've been so fortunate to win as many as we've won. But when you lose a couple, it's important to know that you can get out there and win 4 singles matches and still win the match. I like our chances when we win. We got Ariana Arsenault and Katarina at number 1 doubles, and they're a top 5 team in the country, and they've done quite well together. We got a senior on the number 2 courts, and Elena Christofi. She's playing with Morgan Kopic, and they're a grinding team. They fight. They're in every match. They just find ways to get it done at the end. They've been really good. And then Leah Ma and Meg Kozlowski are a number 3 doubles team, and they just play a unique style. Leah's got such great ground strokes, and Meg gets up there at the net, and they won the thrill. They clinched the match against Texas A&M. They won 7-6 in the set to clinch that doubles point. They've had a great season. So yeah, our doubles has been good, but we did lose against Auburn. We did lose against Vandy, and I think that both those losses actually helped us grow as a team, knowing that we could get 4 singles if we had to in a match. As we mentioned, Kat's our number 1 player, and excited about her to finish up. She was an NCAA runner-up last time they hosted the NCAA singles tournament in 19. And, we're looking for a strong finish for her. And I really believe she's got a great chance to, in football, as you'd say, play on Sundays. So play some professional tennis after. I know that's one of her big goals and ambition. Leah Ma, who was a freshman last year cut short. She's our number 2 player, and she's kind of a fan favorite. She's got some of the best hand-eye coordination, a very smooth player, and is just a really good competitor. She's really coming into her own right now. She was on the All-SEC tournament team, And people really like watching her play just because she's such a good athlete with such great hand-eye coordination. Kind of our team spark plug is Meg Kozlowski. She was on number 6 on the court that won, got all the way to the finals, the NCAAs, and went undefeated at number 6. Now she's moved up to number 3 and only lost a couple matches. Has just had a remarkable year. And I think everybody enjoys watching her play so much because she's such a fighter and a competitor, and has had another really great year. Morgan Kopic, junior on the forecourt. Morgan was the SEC tournament MVP, won all her matches there. And she's been somebody that has been like number 7 in our lineup, number 5. She's been really kind of all through it and out of it. But boy, she's worked hard and trained hard and got herself to where she's had just a fantastic year, and is now one of our toughest outs. People do not like playing her. She's been really super competitive. And then we got the 2 seniors I talked about, my 5th years on the 2 bottom courts with Elena Christofi and Marta Gonzalez. And they, again, both of them have been on the number 2 court in the past for us, and now they're on the 5 and 6 court. The thing I'd say about them is their attitudes are fantastic. Sometimes you have players that play as high as number 2 in a team, and now you're down at 5 or 6. You're wondering, well, what's happened? Am I not as good? No, they're just, it's a point for the team. It's all about the team and their leadership and just their presence out there and their competitiveness are, fantastic, and part of the reason that we've had such a great year.
Well, that's certainly a good lineup for anybody to have. All those girls compete every time. It's fun for me to go out and watch them and our fans. And I know everybody's going to be that listens to this, even if you're not a tennis fan, maybe get out there and support the Dogs. You'll see the schedule coming out here in early May. We'll have 2 matches here, usually like Friday, Sunday, or Thursday, Saturday, and get out there and support the Dogs, and got a chance to win a national championship. Not many teams can say that, Coach. And we're certainly proud of you, not only what you do for our team, but also just the athletic department in general, what you represent in the community, you and your wife. And just you've just been a great part of UGA for a long time. And I wanted to make sure everybody knew, besides just the tennis people, who you were. So some of these football fans, get out there and support the Dogs.
Thank you, Coach. Man, I really appreciate it. It's great being with you guys.